dissolves twice as fast versus standard paracetamol tablets.
It is important. And because we have leaders of an association and a union, we will tell them why. Listen, you want to talk to your members. Because, for example, as the Rural Private Hospitals Association of Kenya, Dr. Brian Lishenga, the chairman, you're talking to all your members countrywide and you want to tell them, okay, so this is what's happening. From next month, we are no longer going to be under NHIF. It will be a new, season where, as the government has said, health will be paid through SHIF. The members need to know, we need to have issues. If issues are emerging and people are calling you and you need to call them back, you need to have airtime throughout the day. And you want to be able to talk to them. Or as the General Secretary of the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers, George Gibore, you're talking to your members and they're telling you, "Ay, bwana, huku kwetu, people are coming and they're saying they don't want to pay a shilling and they want to go, we are not able to get, the commodities that we need, this and the other," and you're just dealing with issue after issue after issue and you want to call back your members when they call you. You want to have airtime all the time. You do not want to have that moment when that you wanted airtime you didn't have. If you do 2,000 shillings, as an example, and it's in existence, 2,000 shillings per month on the Safaricom all-in-one package, you get 1,000 minutes of talk time, 2,000 SMSs, 17 GB of data, free WhatsApp. If you put all your members on a WhatsApp group, you communicate to them, you don't need to spend a shilling. If you call them, you've got 1,000 minutes of talk time. If you text them, you've got 2,000 SMSs. You see? Safaricom just sat back and looked, we are for you. And because Safaricom is for you, then you've got to look at the trends. And they notice the trends are people are actually buying airtime at the moment when they were on a call, it got disconnected, airtime ran out, and then they go and top up. And in the end, cumulatively, at the end of the 30 days, they actually have spent a lot of money because they were buying airtime to call, and then that airtime was then used for data. Then they realized, oh, no, my airtime was going for let me buy data bundles. They bought data bundle. They said, let's sort out these people. Let's come up with an all-in-one package. And that's why they're saying, go for it. How do you subscribe?
*544#. Dial that and then go to the tab that says Go Monthly, and then you can pick the bundle that works for you, and you're on your way to uninterrupted talk and communication.
Imagine. Dr. Lishanga, don't you agree?
Yeah, I'm actually doing this *544.
Nione
kitu.
Fine. Let's do it. Go. *544#.
*544#.
What are the options that it brings there?
Okay, USSD running. It says, so there is option 4 which says Go Monthly. Is that the one?
Do 4.
So 4 now says the first option 0. For 1,000 bob, I get 8 GB, 400 minutes of talk time, and 1,000 SMSs.
Option, the other one?
There's all-in-one. Then there is data plans. Kuna hot deals. Kuna chagua bei yako.
Do the all-in-one.
All-in-one.
All-in-one. There you go. That is option 1. All-in-one now gives me a lot of options. So for 500 bob, I get 2 GB, 100 minutes, and 500 SMSs. For 1,000 bob, I get 8 GB, 400 minutes of talk time and 1,000 SMSs. And if I spend 2K, I get 17 GB, 1,000 minutes. I don't even know if I can finish.
Imagine
1,000 minutes of talking. That's a lot of talking. Plus 2,000 SMSs. There is even more.
Yeah.
Option 4 is 3. For 3,000 bob, you get 27 GB of data.
Imagine
1,500 minutes of talking. And 3,000 SMSs. Who am I SMSing? You don't have an SMS service.
All your members.
All my members.
Imagine
quickly.
if you wanted to broadcast something to all your members.
That should work.
Right?
Yes.
If you wanted to, keep calling because you are in the business of talking
all the
to your
time.
members. So
all the time.
1,000 minutes, actually, you may find that you talk for close to 1,000 minutes a month.
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of course, data, we don't need to say. You use a lot of data. Now, the good thing is because you're on WhatsApp a lot,
yes.
Dr. Lishanga.
Yes.
WhatsApp is free if you take any of those packages.
Oh, amazing stuff.
Yep.
amazing stuff.
So chagua hapo
Mona
tukiendelea.
hii ni ya chama.
Chagua tukiendelea.
Okay.
George Gibore as well. Karibu sana to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Thank you very much for the welcome.
Yes.
I'm already a subscriber.
Voila.
How's it working for you?
So nice.
Now, for me, ni wale wa kitambo. Tuliingia when this was the first product around 2011 when I was paying 1,000. And it's still running.
Very good.
You get 900 minutes.
It serves you well, eh?
Yes,
Serves you very well.
very well.
Do you ever exhaust 900 minutes?
Sometimes you find when the issues are on, when we are on
Like
strike.
it gives you when you are on strike.
Yes. So maybe I need to upgrade.
Yes.
Very true.
Yep. So consider there are various options. Welcome, gentlemen, to the conversation. We are going to be talking about, our health sector and what we see. Both of you have been here before, talking about the health sector. And in fact, talking about UHC and what we expect to see with UHC. What the hope is for those in the profession. Both of you are medics. What do you hope to see? Okay, so we'll be discussing that shortly. Our proverbs for this week are from Libya. And the proverb for today, learn to shave by shaving orphans. Learn to shave by shaving orphans. I want to start with you, George. What's your interpretation?
Learn to shave by shaving orphans. And
Yes.
I think this shaving is a service you are doing. So, indeed, if there's anything you need to do, looking at the orphans are the people who are not well brought up, I mean, less privileged.
Yep.
So I think by taking care of them, then you learn how to take care of everyone and also yourself. Yeah.
Good one. Dr. Lishenga?
Well, I think there's there's a business advice there also that say you wanted to get into a certain industry. It's a good place to start by doing something for the community. And as you do, because orphans are not going to give you anything back anyway, but in that process, you get more proficient at that service. And this is now where you will now generate value that people can actually pay for. So there is a business lesson there about giving to the community as a way of getting better at your sector.
Brilliant. Proverbs
Right.
are very interesting because the interpretation, one proverb can have very many interpretations,
Yes.
and all of them make a lot of sense in the different contexts. Like those two. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Same problem.
Okay. So, for many years, we've talked about universal health coverage in this country. In fact, I just want to go back a couple of years. Charity Ngilu is the Minister for Health, and she says, you know what, let's have everybody getting access to health services at more affordable rates. And she takes it to the cabinet, the Kibaki cabinet. Kibaki cabinet that time is dealing with issues, infrastructure development.
Yeah.
And Daudi Moraria tells her, you know what, it's okay, yeah, you're making a lot of sense. Lakini mama, unajua, sahi pesa hakuna. Let's first of all build infrastructure. Elevate the economy. And then the economy will be able to generate so we can then move into health as a second aspect. Conversations happen, Uhuru Kenyatta, Ruto come in, they say, UHC will be a key pillar. We shall implement it. The Jubilee, the quartet, Uhuru, Ruto, Balala, Ngilu. Okay? Second term, the big five. One of the big five, UHC. Uhuru Kenyatta rolls it out again. Pilot. Sijui pilot, we shall roll it out. Doesn't really happen. Ruto says, if you elect me as president, nikiweka Biblia chini hivi,
Hivi ndio itakuwa.
I will start getting into that journey. Okay. Last year at Mashujaa Day celebrations, it says, we are now launching formally because we have 4 pieces of legislation that are now acts of parliament. We are moving towards implementing UHC finally. The last 1 year, conversations, Ministry of Health and all, and advisors to the president and stakeholders, UHC. Now the Ministry of Health says, end of this month, stop paying money to NHIF, pay money to Social Health Insurance Fund. We are rolling out UHC. Yesterday we had the Cabinet Secretary for Health here. She said, roll out October, launch UHC, full throttle, November. Are we ready, Dr.
Well, first of all, the shifting of goalposts. Cabinet Secretary was my classmate, so I don't even know how to throw her under the bus properly. Shifting of goalposts. This November date for what are they calling? Rollout. Launch. This is very new. You know, this sounds almost like a roadside declaration, because as far as we know, the ministerial circulation is circular is just 1st of October. But if you look at it keenly, it points to a bigger problem, and that is a problem of readiness. In other words, I feel like, based on where I sit, they have bitten more than they can chew. And I would not be surprised if by 1st of November, we get a new date. And I don't know what we will call it now. Will it be rollout or rollout prime or something? The fact of the matter is that we will not be ready by 1st of October. And we will definitely not be ready by 1st of November. And if our colleagues in government were to be honest, they would have followed the advice we've given them over the last 1 year, that this kind of reform needs to be undertaken in small bites, in incremental kind of reform, and it would still work perfectly. But it looks like now we have put for ourselves a firm deadline, and we have made promises to the Kenyan people. And to save ourselves, to save face, we must roll out something. And I'm really worried, you know, as a health sector representative. I think that I like what I watched the show when the new chairman for the SHA authority, Dr. Abdi, was here. He confessed that it will be messy. But my worry is messy for who? Because there is going to be consequences for that mess. And in the problem with the health sector, consequences sometimes mean the difference between life and death. So it is not as simple as my colleague wants to put it, that, we will find a way around it somehow, we will navigate. From where I sit, I think somebody will miss a dialysis session. Somebody will miss chemotherapy. A patient who suffers a road accident, who believes that emergency care is now available, will not be able to get that emergency care. And so it is a matter of life and death, and we should approach it with that kind of seriousness.
What do you see that's lacking that would make these scenarios that you speak of come to reality?
So, top of my mind is, in fact, to answer Yundu, is lack of, what I believe is a lack of government commitment. They are not putting their money where their mouth is. In other words, and I had Eric asking this question recently, primary health care is government funded, exchequer funded. The appropriations bill that was signed into law a couple of months ago by His Excellency, the President, allocates 4.1 billion to primary health care. Surely, we are a country of 55 million or so. This money is not definitely enough. So, where the problem is, we want the Kenyan people to shoulder the burden and shoulder the burden of providing healthcare. And we have a population of maybe maximum 3 million people on formal employment to provide healthcare for 55 million Kenyans.
So are we saying that there's a fear, or are we saying that there's mistrust, possible distrust, that the funds will not be available to actually fund primary healthcare? Because what are we talking about? We can use these words, but what are we talking about, Doc? Is that somebody goes into hospital with a fever. We are saying, don't go to your level 6 hospital, go to your dispensary, go to your 1, 2, 3, right? That's supposed to be funded by government. The money is supposed to go there. So to say that in order for that to happen, to take care of 55 million Kenyans, there needs to be money in that. Is there a fear that that money is not available from government?
So just point that paint that picture very correctly. Right now, the sector is on its knees as we are talking. Just let's forget about even 1st of October or 1st of November. As we are talking right now, hospitals do not have money to provide care. First.
Which hospitals? Private, public?
All of them. All of them. You know, the only difference here is that we in private sector, we don't keep quiet. If you step on our toes, we say you are stepping.
Yeah.
But the mission hospitals will make noise after you've stepped for 1 year. The public hospitals will never make noise. But there is no money in the sector. So if the floodgates that we expect to be opened from 1st of October all the way to November, you know, we are telling Kenyans that all of you now have health care.
Yep.
And we know once you tell health-seeking behavior is once a person is told you have health insurance.
If you remove the financial burden,
they consume it.
Yes.
So we expect that the numbers will go up. What we are saying is that they are going up to hospitals that even today, before we talk about what Ndu is saying, the appropriation, even today, the historical debts that NHIF now, we are closing it with over 22 billion Kenya shillings owed to providers. These providers are limping, providing care to 19%. You know, now it's 19%. That's what NHIF covers. Now we are saying shift immediately in 2 weeks' time to 100% of Kenyans. If we cannot provide quality care to 19% or 20%, how are we going to do it with no funding to 100%? I mean, even if the number rises just a little bit to 30%, the system will collapse. This is the primary problem.
I'll come back to that question of NHIF debt to providers. I asked that of the CS yesterday. But George,
Yes.
do you agree with Dr. Lishanga that we are not ready? Or what do clinical officers, because you're the guys who are in those hospitals that will also provide the primary health care, what do you see?
Where I sit, I'll have to be candid that indeed, when you look at the policies and the laws that we have brought in, and we are actually coming up with, they are very good. The intention is very good, but now putting into action, I think that's where we put queries. And when you ask about readiness, I will point it out clearly that we are not ready. Not ready in which manner? If you look at what Dr. Lishanga has pointed out, is about the fund that has been allocated to primary care services, which means these are the funds to now enable service delivery at level 2 and level 4 and level 3 facility, which are the majority. And these are the nearest facility to every Kenyans, more specifically the targeted poor, the indigents that now we are talking about. I think when we talk about now the shift, we look at it, the percentage that he's talking about, the people who are under now a cover, and now we are saying we want to have everyone under cover. But as they do that, they have cleverly provided a specific provision that you only get service after enrollment, and that they can delay it. So it's not that government are not also very clever. So you come there, you don't have, you'll be told you did not have. So that's the challenge that Kenya are going to face.
What do you mean? Wait.
Yes, if you are not enrolled and you are seeking service, we have said for you to seek service, enroll yourself.
You must be enrolled into SHIF.
Yes.
Okay.
As much as we have said you are not going to pay, but enroll yourself.
Okay.
At the time you are seeking services, you have not enrolled. So it will be a technical issue, and it will depend where you are, whether they can allow you. I heard yesterday the PS saying that there will be someone ready there to enroll you so that you get services. But I'm skeptical about that because I know the kind of system that we normally operate in. And having said that, the readiness and the parameters that inform readiness have not been clearly outlined. Looking at now the financial issues, and as I've said previously, these facilities we are talking about, the primary health care, are the main reason why Kenyans do not trust the public sector. Because every time Kenyan go visit, laboratory is not functioning because there is no reagent to do, or even a test kit to test even for malaria. Or even when that is functional, the clinician is not there. So you'll find there are a number of places you'll go, like here in Nairobi. Up to last year, and now they have employed a number of officers until we check again, we had close to 22 facilities not functional in Nairobi. We had 13 facilities in Meru not functioning, 17 facilities in Kisii not functioning.
By not functioning, what do you mean?
They are not operational. There is structure,
so for example, in Nairobi,
brick and mortar.
there's a known clinic.
Yes.
That this is an NCC clinic.
Yes.
But it's closed.
Yes, that this is a health center.
Yeah.
It has been brought up by virtue of the agitation of the MCA,
Yeah.
because for them, development in the health sector is about brick and mortar. So once that is in place, there is no healthcare provider in that facility. There is no any equipment. So there is a building there. People knows that this thing is there. So when you look at it, at the end of the day, is that you have told people that there's a facility. When they go there, even when there is a healthcare work, there is no drug, there's no, the laboratory is not functioning. So what they do, they bypass that facility, they go to the level 4, because they do not have trust with that facility. And that is the reason why Mama Lucy is congested, Mbagathi is congested, Mtwini is congested, and all the other level facility, which is closer to those people, they are not able to reach. Now the question comes here is when you are in Mandera, and the next facility from that one, which is dysfunctional, is over 100 miles away, and you cannot afford to travel. So you choose to remain at home or not even to travel. So the challenges that are there are enormous until we speak to them. So say that we had these challenges even under NHIF. What we have provided as a remedy to that is 1, 2, 3. When we talk about what the NHIF owns to private sector, how much does government facility, government like the county government owns NHIF? You'll find facility like when I went to Mombasa, I realized Mombasa owes NHIF close to around 15 billion. So if you get to most of those counties, then you put the maths together, is that government have been deducting money from like the employees, and they never remit it. So it is government owing to each other and affecting service delivery. So when, and as he has said that even private is not, it's because the government is the highest spender. Not government, the money that we collect under NHIF, and of course the government is the highest spender in the health sector. So once that money is not there to be spent, every facility is in limbo.
Okay. So we're looking at a situation whereby there were many things that were happening that would have already put the sector in crisis, even before the discussions about bringing in this new SHA authority came into place. Things were already...
The house was on fire.
The house was on fire,
yes.
essentially, shambolic, whatever. So many things going wrong. So oftentimes we have these discussions, and it's easier to lament, where in some cases it's necessary. However, looking for the solution probably is now where the vision should be turned. And I think everybody has been doing that in different sectors, whether it's coming from, health workers, whether it's coming from brick and mortar infrastructure. And if we talk about health facilities around the country not functioning and health workers not being hired to carry out certain functions, would it make sense for us to say that this whole new implementation of a new authority can actually be put on hold, and the attention then ought to be paid towards making sure that your infrastructure, first of all, is operational, and that all this debt issue burden here between government and of the other sectors should be sorted out before you even start thinking about wanting to move things around? Is that where our attention should be focused?
Well, I don't know.
Maybe as he respond, I don't know whether he was the one to respond, is that what was the driver for us to change from NHIF to SHA? What was the reason? What have been the reason that the government is giving? They felt like there was a lot of limitation under NHIF, which some of us totally agree, because the primary services were not well catered for under the NHIF.
Okay.
And you'll be surprised that level 2 and level 3, a majority of the public sector were not under NHIF. They were not receiving any funds. But you'll find in the private
Primary health
sector where
centers.
he is. Yes,
Primary-
public
sector.
sectors.
Level
Okay.
2, level 3.
Okay.
Yes, but you'll get a clinic with a one room seated there, but it has NHF.
In the private sector.
Yes, in the private sector. So you are wondering what is the limitation. But looking at it is that, like screening for chronic diseases, to some extent, it could not happen. So you only, NHF was like saying, we wait for you to get maybe to test positive. When you go test positive, and come tell us, I have cancer, for me to start taking. And even the cancer issue when did we start catering for it? It was after some time. So they said we want to come up with a framework to ensure that the primary healthcare services can also get funding. Now, what I normally get surprised is, with the kind of projection we have in terms of the financial provision, we have already shifted goal. Because if you say you are giving 4 billion to primary healthcare and you are providing 10 point something billion for administrative services, you have already lost it. That is what we are saying. Now, and I feel like probably they are talking about equity in terms of how to share these resources, public, private, so that there is no issue of costing. I mean, different costing. Like I normally give this good example that a cesarean section in Mamalusu will cost you around 15,000, between 10 to 15,000.
Yes.
Under NHF. You go to the biggest referral hospital like KNH, it will cost you around 115,000. But if you cross over to a facility, private facility like Nairobi Hospital and Aga Khan, 260. Unfortunately, the consultant who is the resident of Kenyatta is the one doing it at Aga Khan.
Hospital.
Yes, the private hospital, Mata or elsewhere. So you wonder, what do you pay for? The procedure is the same. The human body is the same.
The medicine they use
Nothing
is the same.
changes. So what do you pay for?
The consultant.
So then you find
address.
that the benefit are tilted to benefit. I know he will defend that.
No, I have to defend this.
So, and that is why we want an equalizer. That's what we were saying.
So
we want
SHA
an
would be the
equalizer so that,
equalizer.
yes, we can also make a public facility to be competitive, which comes along with now the issues of the FIF, so that we can be able also to retain that money there, which is a fantastic idea. Now the issue is, will we reach there? Because always has been. Yesterday you asked a question to the CS about the HR, and she said that we are coming up with a HR Act. I don't know what.
Yes.
Really, is there anything that is denying you to take action? Nothing. If today you know there is already gaps in terms of the medical officers you need to have, the clinical officer and the nurses, the dentist and the subspecialists that you need, what is denying you to take action? Let them say clearly that there was a projection under the blueprint of the Kenya Kwanza government to employ 100,000 healthcare workers. That was within the first 1 year. They have never projected any budget to employ not even a single healthcare worker. So there is no funds that have been projected or rather targeted to employ healthcare workers.
Dr. Leshanga, before you come in, and you'll come and respond to that, let's take a break. It's 25 minutes to 10. We're talking about the health sector in this country. Are we ready for universal health coverage? It is to be rolled out in October, to be launched in November. Are all systems go? Our guests this morning, Dr. Brian Leshanga, Chairman of the Rural Private Hospitals Association of Kenya, and George Gibore, who's the General Secretary of the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers. Keep it here. We'll be back shortly.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your...
75 days since the last day of last season. We are ready to do it all again.
Dial star 423 hash, get DSTV Compact for 3,700 Kenya shillings and connect to all the football you want on DSTV.
Remember when you were a child and dreamt of what you want to be when you grew up?
I'd like to be a pilot, a neurosurgeon.
Neurosurgeon. I would like to become a chef.
Air hostess, police officer.
I would like to become an oncologist. What if you lived a day in that dream job? Would you still have pursued it? The Bid Me Career Learning Fair is making those childhood dreams come true. You don't want to miss out. See you on 21st of September at 8 a.m. at Kasarani Stadium.
Hey, inakuwaje waresh na wahesh? Manze, this is Kubash in the hood. Na unajua kila kitu si uifanyaje?
Na mafinyo. Weka vinyo, ongeza vinyo. Weka vinyo, ongeza vinyo. Jua ki bless, yo bless na mafinyo. Ni juicy. Flavors zote tamu tena fruity. Are you bored? Kuna vitu zinakuudhi. Sijali my bro, hebu kama taka juicy juu ni juicy. Flavors zote tamu tena fruity. Are you bored? Kuna vitu zinakuudhi. Sijali my bro, hebu kama taka juicy juu ni
out on Inside Sports every Monday to Friday at 1:30 p.m.
Breaking defenses.
Crank up the volume and buckle up. The Digger Motor Show 2024 is roaring into town, ready to ignite your love for all things automotive. We're talking shiny, sleek, new models from top brands, side by side with timeless classics that'll make your heart race. Vintage or cutting edge, there's something here to get your engine revving. Whether you're a gearhead who can name every bolt or just a thrill seeker who loves the open road, this event is your dream come true. Get ready to test drive your automotive fantasies at the Sarit Center, happening from Thursday, October 24th to Sunday, October 27th, 2024. For more information to participate, call Caroline on 0723-803601 or email sinyandieka@standardmedia.co.ke to join the fun. Let's celebrate everything that makes cars awesome at the Digger Motor Show, the ultimate celebration of everything automotive. The new standard in news. The Standard is redefining how you consume news online. Available now on M-Pesa app. Download today.
Something else, okay? NCBA Bank, you know it.
Yes.
Banks, you know, they have these apps, okay? Now, NCBA doesn't have an app. It has a lifestyle. It's called Loop.
That's a nice line. As a what?
Lifestyle. Loop. Tell me about it.
Everything is looped basically, so you don't have to go anywhere to get all your business done. From this one place, you can get transactions between your bank and your mobile wallet. You can pay your utility bills. You can sort out standing orders. You can make sure that all your payments are set up on time, ready to go. If you're in business, you can pay your merchants. You can pay your suppliers. You can advertise on the app to let people know what's available. I mean, it's fantastic stuff. All you have to do is download it. Download it today on your Google Play Store or Apple App Store. Download, and get into this lifestyle of not having to go so many places to get certain things done. And guess what? If you download that today and give us evidence of that, Edward, during the Spice Drive today, we'll award somebody 5,000 bob.
Evo.
Yes. Download. Get into the Loop lifestyle. Why wait when you can loop it?
Exactly. So, Dr. Lishenga.
Interesting.
It costs this much for a cesarean section at, let's say, Mama Lucy. Costs this much plus X at KNH. It costs this much times Y at a private facility. Why?
Well, George brought up a very interesting point. I will start from the point where you're saying NHIF was not giving money to public level 2 and level 3 facilities, which I will tell you. it's just a governance issue. And, we were just talking about maybe, let's say, how Irungu Kangata has done things differently in Muranga. And it's very simple. Do you know that all the counties get capitated, that outpatient money, but most counties receive that money into a single bank account that is attached to the, say, county referral hospital or the sub-county hospital. So money for dispensary X never reaches dispensary X. It goes to a county hospital and it is spent from a central. In fact, before FIF, that money could even be spent for roads, So what are reasonable governors doing? Simply, very simple things, my brother. Like what you were talking about Moranga. What they have done is open bank accounts for every single dispensary, and give those bank accounts to NHIF. You know how SHA now. You know how NHIF usually works is once they say this area has 100,000 people who are beneficiaries. They simply do a math and they pay you the money for providing care for those ones into the account that you have given them.
Right.
So if you gave them accounts for 50 dispensaries, say in Kakamega or Makueni, whatever it is, they will pay money according to the number of beneficiaries attached to those dispensaries, and our dispensaries will be funded.
Right.
Now, that is to save my colleagues in the private sector, just to say it is not that counties or public sector have been not getting money and private. It is because of policy at government level in terms of where the money goes. Now, on the question of say cost of care, one of the things is that we keep forgetting is that the cost of a cesarean section is the same everywhere. It is the same at Mama Lucy and it's the same at a private hospital. The only difference is that at Mama Lucy, the cost of HR is absorbed. So you don't see it on your patient bill anywhere. So the cost of HR is absorbed, the cost of power is absorbed, the cost of rent, all these things are absorbed by the national government or the county government, whoever it is. They don't appear on the bill. But when you are in private sector, all these things are itemized somehow within your medical bill. And that is why the cesarean section that my colleague is talking about, 115,000. Actually, I'm surprised. That's rather expensive. We have private hospitals that are giving cesarean sections for 30K. If you look at the SHA benefits that is going to be rolled out, cesarean section is 30,000. That's the reimbursement. So why? Well, some private hospitals and even government hospitals co-charge. They charge a little more on what is reimbursed. And private sectors will have a slightly higher bill because of these other costs that cannot be absorbed by the taxpayer. So the cesarean section costs the same thing. It's only that on this other side, HR is taken care of, power is taken care of, and it doesn't appear on your bill. You asked a very important question before we went on the break as to whether we needed these reforms or we can just stop this bus and get out. There are good things about these reforms. I do not want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And you also said we shouldn't just complain. And we don't want to consistently complain. Let me tell you a few good things. One, nobody in the sector is against the Emergency, Chronic and Critical Illnesses Fund. We want it. I mean, this has been one cost that has been ballooning and is predicted to keep ballooning as our population ages. So this is one of the very, very nice things that came through. Another thing that is, I think, quite interesting is around the Digital Health Act, where now we are finally going to bring all this data that we are collecting in the health service. We don't exist in silos. Your hospital doesn't have its own pool of information. If the digital superhighway works, the court cases notwithstanding, if it works, then for once in the country, we will be able to know how many diabetes cases, how many malaria cases, how many products, all these things will become visible. That is a great thing. The primary healthcare fund, as envisioned, is fantastic because now there seems to be a deliberate effort to fund healthcare at the level 2s, level 3 facilities, which have been ignored for a long time. The criticism we are offering is that all this thing boils down to what George was saying, and I wish he had stayed on that line. This thing boils down to government bad behavior. Today, if let's say here at Standard Group, if, as a private sector employer now, if I don't remit my NHIF for my employees by 9th of every month, where will I go? In fact, let me make it even interesting. The same SHA and NHIF, do you know they refuse to pay us for not showing, when we invoice them, for not showing our NHIF compliance certificate. So we find that extremely ironical because it is them who haven't paid us for us to be able to do these things. But then they also turn around and say without a compliance. But government agencies, SAGAs, what we call semi-autonomous government agencies, these roads, whatever, all these universities, county governments, they owe colossal amounts of money to the fund. And that is what worries me about the 2.75%. This 2.75% will be deducted from every single employee's pay slip. And historically, they say what the best predictor of future behavior is what? Past behavior. So it's going to be deducted and it will not arrive. That is just the first part. We don't think the money will arrive. The second thing I have an issue with, and which we have criticized, what is this means testing? I was watching the university funding model. They are complaining about means testing. It's the same business we have brought into SHA. We are now saying the informal sector is your contributions are going to be determined by a means test. I don't know if you guys have logged into that website, but if you go in on the SHA website, and now also that's a problem. Guka or Shosho or
it's not going to get on the website.
It's not going to get on the website. But if you do manage to navigate, you will find that your premium changes immediately. You say you have a microwave. And ukiweka tu hapo refrigerator, you are now a very wealthy person. Now, of course, we have criticized it, saying that using means testing as the means to determine how much the informal sector will generate will result in people, one, cutting shortcuts and lying.
People will underdeclare.
We know there are people in the informal sector who make a lot more than people who are on payroll. They are going to simply underdeclare. Because how am I going to say I have 2 cars or I have a motorcycle? Imagine our brothers who are in the border sector. Once you put there that I have a border, your premium shoots up. So there is an inbuilt incentive for people not to contribute. And these are the criticisms we have made. We are saying, number one, the biggest employer in Kenya is government. If government does not have physical discipline to remit funds, there is no way you can simply make the sector work by changing the law. People have to behave properly. The parastatals that owe NHIF money, the SAGAs, etc., let them remit money. Because if they can't remit NHIF money, they will not remit SHA money. You get what I'm saying? So the major issue is around how do we raise the money? Means testing is wrong. My colleagues in the sector have said we should have gone for a general tax. We should have gone for a general tax. Every time I pay, if I'm wealthy, I'm going to buy a pair of shoes, maybe, 7,000, 10,000. I pay a little more than the person who can afford a pair of slippers. But if the one who's affording a pair of slippers pays 1 bob, and I pay 1,000 shillings, we are both contributing. In that way, we will have captured everyone. We have said we should have gone for general taxation, created a law to ring-fence the funds created in this manner, and then used those funds to fund healthcare. But telling me to go on a website and type and declare myself, this is not going to work. And we are going to burden the few employees who are in the private sector with the funding healthcare for all Kenyans. And what the CS didn't say yesterday, really, the other day, is what they are really calculating is that the 2.75% is also going to fund primary healthcare. It's also going to fund the critical fund. That is their math. Because once the money hits the SHA bank accounts, you and I will not know how they are manipulating that money, where it is moving. And yet the law is clear. It is Parliament that needs to appropriate money for primary healthcare.
Primary healthcare and the critical emergency care.
And if you ask me, CS Treasury, this thing actually falls right on his doorstep. If he does not open the coffers for emergency critical chronic fund and primary healthcare,
it's going to be a crisis.
There will be a major crisis.
So come next month, Because even yesterday, the PS for Medical Services, Harry Kimtai, said from next month, we have started the transition. Come next month, from your understanding, George, what will happen to this person in Kimana who goes to Kimana Dispensary? The law says that this person goes to Kimana Dispensary, gets treated, goes home without paying a dime.
A dime.
Yes, let me start from there. Before that, allow me say, Dr. Lishanga is a good man. And let me advocate at least and profile him a bit. That even what we are seeing in Moranga, he has a lot of contribution there. And that is why I want everyone to know that he has contributed a lot.
Even his flowers.
Yes, it is his flowers. Okay. So, having said that, I'll mention on what he has talked about the issue we are experiencing in terms of deduction happening to the employees not remitted, ending up to deny that person a service when they need it. We proposed, even when this issue was there, that the money should be deducted at source, because there is a central coffers which disseminate that money. But why can't we do it at the central place so that then we don't have issues where you are claiming county has not remitted and yet you gave them the money? So, but that was not taken. Now, when you look at it now, what you are talking about, what is going to happen now that we are rolling out? I presume, and I feel that probably nothing, because the sensitization has not happened. A majority of Kenyans do not know what is going to happen. And it will have probably changed if the government took the initiative of doing their part of what they have called the mean testing. It should have happened so that before they say how many have enrolled, they will say, we already have this number of indigents that we are going to pay. What the government is supposed to be doing, it has not done it. But it is asking those others who are supposed to be doing to do it. When they tell everyone that you must pay the 2.7%, they are supposed, the appropriation of NHIF for it to roll out the primary health care was around 50 billion. They only got 4 billion.
4.1 billion.
Yes. I normally don't say that point because
so the point one is 100 million.
Yes. So when you look at the other side, is that in the critical care and emergency, the approximation was 100 billion. So what are they getting in return? So that's what we are saying. When you look at that, the action is not really in line with what they are telling us.
So the focus here is more on collecting money.
The status quo is more of what we see than the services that they are talking about.
Okay. What will you have us do, George? So
what we have to do is that we have to be realistic. And the government, if they want to they want to enhance services, they must be listening, and they must be able to ensure that if we want something to change, let's do it in a manner that it is realistic. Promising things that you are not going to do is bad. But again, if government has a role to play, let it play its part first before you start asking individual Kenyans to do it. Because then that's how you win trust, and the people feel that they are part of what you are doing. If you tell us that indeed what we are going to get is going to be, because why I say that is status quo is that you have already said, if I'm not enrolled, I'll not get services. And I will tell you, in the next 1-2 years to come, we will still have a percentage of not less than 24% of Kenyan, because the transition will only happen for those who have been under NHIF. Unless the right measures is put in place, then so that there is a motivation for those who have never been in any form of a cover, medical cover, to be enrolled, then nothing will change. Because in any case, if today you have told me that I don't fall under the category of indigent where the government will pay for me, and I have a child who have been chased away from school, who is I'm supposed to pay the school fee, and you're telling me to pay probably 500 shillings, or even a child who is sick, and at that time the next facility next to me is either pharmacy that I have to buy some paracetamol, and where I come from, anti-malarial, like in Nyanza. What will I choose to go for? I'm actually struggling to put a meal on the table, and you're telling me to pay 500 per month.
And you've already declared me an indigent.
Yes. So what I'm saying is that the government is going to experience a lot of difficulties, and the best way it will have gone, I think what Dr. Lishenga is saying, will have gone to a way of a tax-based, so that we identify on a line of this is how we want to get this money, and it be done. Now, let me bring to this aspect, like I was in Botswana the other day. Botswana have no like a national insurance cover, but they have a kitty, they have allocated money. Every citizen can access services at any level, provided you are a citizen. You only introduce your card, and there is no enrollment. Yes, people talk about their number is low, but indeed,
the principle,
the fact is that they have a money that have guaranteed services at every level for every Botswana without paying. Now, when you go to where we are talking about, I think we have been talking about Malaysia and Singapore. What did they do? They came up with a similar way like NHIF actually, but they grew a kitty to a manner that currently, like in Singapore, they have a fund that can run 5 years. If today they stop paying, it will run for 5 years. So for us, we have bad manners, as he has said, that even the little that we have contributed, it ends up in individual pockets. And people lose life day in, day out.
It's a life and death situation.
Yes.
As we conclude in about a minute, Dr. Lishenga, rural private hospitals play a critical role in the provision of healthcare services. Come next month, those that have been coming to your facilities and, using NHIF, what's going to happen?
So we will not turn away any Kenyan. We will offer care. The question is, under what terms will we offer care? I want my former classmate, the CS, to succeed. I want my colleague Abdi Mohammed to succeed. But I will tell you without any doubt that it is Mbadi who will fail them. And in the absence of the CS Treasury, and I'm basically saying whoever holds the keys to the purse, in the absence of them opening those purses and putting money in the sector and showing, as I began by saying, put your money where your mouth is, out-of-pocket expenditure in this country is going to skyrocket from 1st of October.
Oh, my God.
This is what I can tell you. It should be informative to you that 1.2 million Kenyans only or so have enrolled. And if enrollment is a criteria for accessing care, what will I do with the 50 million who haven't?
And they come to your facility.
And they come to my facility. And what will I do with the fact that my drugstore is empty and you are now waiting for share money to pay NHIF debts?
It's okay. Picture painted. It's okay. Got it. Just go. Dr. Brian Lishenga is the chairman of the Rural Private Hospitals Association of Kenya. George Kibore is the general secretary, Kenya Union of Clinical Officers. Thank you for tuning in to the biggest conversation today. Have yourselves a lovely day. See you tomorrow. It's 10 a.m.